3, 2.
Yay!
And we're live. Hello,
Hello.
everybody.
Hello.
To a slightly different, perhaps, Thursday night, because we're actually, well, most of us are actually here at the office for a change. And so welcome to Steve, that side. Still can't get this right. And Gary. Okay. And for once, we've actually got some kind of scripty type thing.
Yes, the change.
So who on earth organised all that? And because this one's a bit more of a special, it's been our 6 months, episode 26.
Yeah.
So is there anything special that we might be able to talk about as we get into this a little bit more?
We might have a little competition as part of it. So
What, a proper one?
Yeah.
Apparently, yeah.
So you need to keep your eyes open, guys.
Definitely something we'll mention a bit later on, I think. Hi, Adam. So we're going to say shout out to anybody as they come on, if we get a chance to. But I think perhaps, shall we get started with what we've got written down and see where we go?
Guide us, wise one.
Guide. Who's that? Now, Steve, over the last couple of weeks, we've gathered a few questions, and we're going to try and answer as many as we can throughout this evening. But if anybody's got more questions, we want them just to fire it in the comments below, and we'll read those out as we go. We'll squeeze them in as many as we can. But I think the first key one, perhaps, has been how would you say COVID-19 has impacted Sarissa this year?
Oh, biggie. It's been very, very strange because whilst we've gone through it and it's been different and we've had a lot to deal with, the business itself is in a very strong position. What's been different about it is all the things that we were going to do we haven't done, and we've done and we've done a lot of things that we never even thought of doing.
Honestly, is that different?
Yeah.
Is that any different from normal, Gary?
Yeah. So in hindsight, no, it's the same. We just kind of muddled our way through it. But no, this started because we weren't going to events, so we decided we would have a little play online and see what. How long it took before people go bored of us.
Well, they're still coming back, so they're not bored yet. And actually, you mentioned the events there. Has that affected us, or not being able to go to any events?
Well, it's been different. Dave's been like a sort of caged animal because he's not getting his sort of bi-weekly fix of going out and seeing people. But we've sort of had to keep feeding that beast, But we did PatMaCon, which was an online convention, which was great fun, and we all took part in that, and that was really good.
Yeah, Dan did a great job organising all that for the guys, along with his compatriots at Paint All the Minis. So it was good to have something straight away right at the beginning. A few others have followed too.
And I think a few people, Games Expo did an online convention, and there's been another couple. So I think that it probably will become the norm quite soon, and people will get quite used to it. But it was good for us because we could speak to people in the States and Europe, that week to week we wouldn't see unless we went over to one of their cons.
Because of course, Gary, we'd normally go to Salute, wouldn't we? And you'd be able to just see the sort of 400 or 500 people that would actually be able to get to our stand. It's, although there's thousands there, the numbers squeezing past the stand on the day. And I think we hit. How did you feel that went on PatMaCon?
It was good, as you say. The crack with Salute or the shows is that you get to see people reacting with what you're doing and what you're designing, and actually the interaction of it, and how to present it, and how they think about it as opposed to just use it. That was okay, but PatMaCon enabled us to interact in a very different way, which to some extent we were intending to do at exhibitions anyway, with demonstrations of how we paint it, how we work with it, and more chat, a bit more chance. And well, you got panned a bit because the idea was for demoing it a little bit as well, so it all got a little bit of a hit for six. And I mean, this salute for me, as we know, was about book launch, about actual the painting part of it.
Yeah.
And that, the PatMacon enabled us to actually do something for that, which was quite good.
Yeah. So I think the experience of it's been very different. We furloughed some people at the start, and then quite quickly had to bring them back after our disaster planning.
Yeah, it was rather quick, wasn't it? Yes.
Yeah. So we spent some time deciding on what we do in various scenarios, and none of those happened like we thought they would. So we acted quite quickly, and we managed to keep things going for we had about a 6-week period where there was only 3 of us in this sort of family group, and then after that, it was people started coming back in. You were coming in doing your bit, standing at the other side of the unit from us.
The other side, yes. Let's have a look at a few of the highlights. I think over the last 6 months or so,
there's been some.
There's been some. I think there's a lot more thing out there, and we're going to run a video so everybody can have a watch and see as we go. But Steve, where would you highlight? What ones do you think stood out for you?
Well, it's just been shown off. There was the Japanese castle and the Mediterranean village at the start, which is shown there. We obviously, just before lockdown, we ran a big Kickstarter for the Alamo, which finished, and then 2 weeks later, the UK locked down. So that was a challenge, but the guys really rose to it, and we managed to fulfill it on time, which was really good considering what we had to work with and around. So that was good. What else do we?
We just seen, I think, the big desert fort.
The desert fort. Yeah. Rort's Drift, which we released in 3 scales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you mentioned 3 scales there because LaHaye Saint followed soon after, didn't it, for the big event?
Yeah. That's now available in 20mm. Yeah.
Hobby support stuff too.
Yeah. Pretty forget this thing, but we've got quite a bit now.
Yeah. I've gone quiet watching this because I've forgotten all of this.
Yeah. Well, it started off as a few pictures, and then you start dropping them in, going, "Oh yeah, we've done quite a bit, really."
Yeah. Well, the thing is that I suppose the perception would be that you guys were making stuff and design could just sit back, but nothing really changed because we still had with the Stalingrad factory.
And that was done. We did that with Warlord to support their bolt action Stalingrad campaign book, and again that was another big set that was done right at the start of lockdown. We sort of were mid-production on that. So
I mean, the stuff that I've been working on behind the scenes as well, which nobody knows about yet. So there's
the advantage in some ways for you working from home as a normal day-to-day job anyway, it's not affected you too much, I would have thought.
Not really, no. It was one of those things where if it suddenly went quiet, we would have needed to do more of this. Unfortunately, it didn't go quiet. We still had the Alamo to deal with. We still had all these new releases that people wanted once they sort of got wind of them. So all of that had to do. But then we still had to do everything because we started doing this. And different videos, different ways of promoting the product to people that couldn't see us at shows. So it was like actually doubling up bits and pieces of building it all.
And by doing this, then we'd started getting thrown ideas as well that sort of stoked the creative fires. The Arab Dow,
the cog.
The cog. These were little conversations that people sowed seeds. And
and that Atakabuni there, that was definitely one that sowed the seed for a lot more ships to come, didn't it?
Yes, it started that sort of launch.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, where Steve at the beginning said about how things were knocked sideways a bit was because the book, which is on the show at the moment, has almost ranges in it. Certain things that we were going to do 15 odd kits.
Yeah.
But because of the way they were and still are working like unbelievable, the amount of work that's going on, they had to be suppressed. But we still have to offer you, and there was lots of other stuff in the pipeline that sort of got leapt in front of everything. Yeah. So what's in the book is still there. It's just taken a back seat for quite some time until we're ready.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll catch up with a few of those a bit later on, I think. And of course, there's the Alamo and then the book release. That's been absolutely massive. But that family's been a big thing as well, hasn't it? Or I shouldn't mention papers.
It has, yeah. I mean, the teams. We've had 2 new arrivals through lockdown. Yeah, AJ had a new arrival, and Taylor, production manager. She's got a new arrival as well. So that's, we've managed to fit quite a lot in when you look
Excellent.
at that.
So as we expand, we're building our crew a little bit more in the background. Yeah, getting them early, get them trained.
The next generation are getting set up there, and
yeah.
That'd be AJ.
AJ is in his element now, and we all laugh at him when he starts telling his stories.
Oh, I'm tired. Oh, really?
Only
you can't play your computer games anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, of course, we've been we mentioned the DAO and the cog, but we've been doing some sort of partnership sort of things, haven't we? Helping other companies out a bit. Burrows and Badges.
Yeah, we had the forge. We did a forge with them, which is a really cool kit. And Gary did a cracking job and had stained glass windows and interior lighting, backlit.
Yeah,
which means we'll never get a hold of that one. It's locked in the.
It's in a black crate sat next to me. Because you keep saying we're moving, I've kept it here.
Yeah, that's the excuse, is it? Because that will go really nicely with that cog, which we still not seen in the flesh.
You'll never see that one.
Yeah,
that's still up on the shelf.
Yeah, and then we've got the guy, the Clockwork Goblin guys. We've been working on some stuff for Conflict. So we've got one release for Hot 13 and the scenario set, and the idea is to work with those on some more scenario sets. So we'll do a little feature built around the scenario, and it might be another one. Use another one quite soon.
Yes, fingers crossed. Yeah. Well, see what they've got for us, cunning plans and sketches from H and the crew. Yes. And of course, more recently, we've cracked on with a little bit of the Ruined City, inspired by a game that's just come out.
Well, it's actually inspired by a game that came out like 4 plus years ago. Yeah. Gary will tell you, that was a sort of an idea that then developed into something else, and then it got revisited and turned into what it is now.
Yeah, it is crazy. I mean, I currently have the National Trust castle spinning around, but it's we had the chat long time ago, and like a lot of these things, they get written down on a list, then they get put on another list, and a little sketch might appear, and we blew out a whole concept, and that's where the terrain tiles came from. That's where the concept work for the Alamo came from, and concept work for something else which is yet to happen and come, that is in the process.
Yeah.
So
the Mediterranean village developed out of that. Just that flexibility. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all sort of based around building big models and whatever you want with it, really. So it's
being able to interconnect and lock on. Yeah. I'm going to turn the page now because I've got to the end. Well, it's funny that with all that, and there's been so much, what would you say you haven't been able to make? What's the things that you haven't been able to get hold of? Let's say Steve first. Yeah. What would you say? Something that you'd like to have not done.
The plans for Dark Ops has been one that's frustratingly kind of keeps getting shuffled back, because we don't like sort of half doing things. There's no point in it. It needs. We've got some cool plans for it, and we want to do it properly. So it's just sat and ticked along, and we've just serviced it. What else? The tent town. That was something that would have been.
Gosh, yeah.
4 or 5 months ago. And that's something new that's coming quite soon.
Yeah, but we'll come on to that in a minute. I think.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Yeah. Moving.
Yeah.
moving the factory.
Yeah, moving the entire factory. Yeah, that's just taken a little bit longer than we'd hoped, because sort of organising that sort of thing when you can't go and visit sites, or contractors that you need to work with have got limitations on how they can travel, because they need to stay overnight, and there's no hotels open. So we've got that. So that's been that's why I'm sitting in the attic at the moment with the mess I get being put into the dusty attic to do this.
Yeah, there's a shrouded portrait of him behind him. He doesn't want to lift.
Yeah.
And Gary?
I'm a bit of a bulldozer. So basically, if it's going to get done, I will try and get it as far as possible. But honestly, the book, we were determined to get it done. I became a publisher, which is crazy, to get it sorted. And some of the book kits and the ranges in there, yeah, we were building up to. I painted a load of Italians and all for a Mediterranean set, so that I could produce a little square.
Yeah,
put a couple of the Roman fountains in there, but that had to be backburnered and everything else. So yeah, there's a number of those little things which are frustrating, and I suppose I bulldozed the tent town through, but that was because it was so close to being test cut and ready. It could come, but yeah. So that's been some of my frustrations.
Yeah, okay. And then there's a few little secret squirrel things that there's no point in even mentioning, that they'll happen.
We'll get to those, perhaps a few others as we go.
I'll put it this way: the man above me has some very top secret images. He even squeaks or makes a sound that hints.
Hints at things. Yeah. So, perhaps one of the other questions came in then. I think we probably know what Gary's favourite kit is out of the lot. But Steve, perhaps what would you say is your favourite kit along those lines?
Ask Gary first.
I've got a couple of my favourite kits. One is the motorcycles that we did for Board Games Illustrated for their little magazine front cover thing.
Oh no, You've just made a mistake, Gary. It was War Games Soldier and Strategy.
I apologise. I apologise to them profusely. However, we did do the motorcycles.
Yeah.
So, absolutely loved those. Although I've just broken the exhaust on that one. It's typical British motorcycle. And as crazy as it is, you probably wouldn't get it. It's the 40mm Old West wagon, trail wagon, the kitchen one. Yeah. There's something about it, because I've had to paint the 28mm one. I like those as well, but there's something about the chunkiness of the 40mm one.
Yeah,
and it just, I don't know, it just looks right. And so that's one of mine that I quite like. But it is hard. I mean, there's actually a kit missing on the website. He says it online, but it's the individual canal boat in green.
Okay.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
It's the first one we did.
Yeah.
We've got the butty boats, so don't panic. There are canal boats there, Fig. But that one is one of my favourites as well. It's just reminds me of being a kid. We went on holiday on the canals and used to see these things submerged in water mainly.
Yeah. Yes.
I like the boat. I do like the boats, even though for me personally, I don't even know what I do with them, any of them. But I do like them. I think I like them more as models. Yeah, I think you know the cog's awesome. The Ataki Boon, it's just got something about it, and it's got a cool name, Ataki Boon. You could just keep saying it over and over and over again. So, so there's those two. Some of the little vehicles have been really cool as well. You know, the Renault that we just released.
Yeah.
You know, it's just got in the Stalwart. There's those.
Yeah. Those that back deck you can obviously leave off. You can do some conversion work on it. So
I think if I was to pick one, I would probably say the Burrows and Badgers, the Forge, the Smithy.
Yeah,
because I kind of asked for that. It was me that said, "I'd love for my mold blacksmith. I want a Smithy, please." So you know,
you got a scenario to go with it straight away. It was great.
Yeah. So that.
Yeah. Is there any like big project that you fancy doing next, Gary? Or perhaps what would you look forward to designing the most?
You know that bulldozer aspect I said about?
Yes.
There's a few things that I've pushed through at this end that are happening. To be honest, I'll be honest with you, is that I take my reference from anywhere outside the gaming world, which is where I'm at. And if I'm looking at what's going on the internet and what people are saying about us and other things, and I spark from that. So when somebody then says, "Oh, can I have a certain thing that goes over chuff that you mentioned?" It gets done. However, that was a bridge from something that was 50% on its way anyway. So it's that. So I quite like the interconnectivity of it. It's the big world, and you know, we've got a project that I worked on today that it's all been tagged. It's ready to be cut. That I'm looking forward to seeing, and that's just a few houses, but that's another collaboration I can't mention at all. But that I really want to get my grubby mitts on some really simple buildings because they look cool in 3D,
and especially with all those papers and everything else.
Just bits and pieces,
yeah. The works extras.
Is that the kits that I've got some prototype ones sitting in front of me here?
You've got. Well, you see, this is like referring to stained glass to Rich. Rich only knew one type of stained glass. He didn't know the other one.
There's like 3 or 4 sat on the website on the to-do list.
I'm not sure what prototypes are you on about. You see, I can't even describe it because I'll let it go.
No. But I'll tell you what, we'll get Steve to dish the dirt and say what's coming for the rest of 2020.
You're asking me that like I would know or remember.
I gave you a list.
we sat and went through it, and then
don't mention anything to do with water. Not yet.
No. So what we got? Wait a minute till I just think about this. So we've got a factory move to plan. It's what we've got for it. It's our 10th birthday in a couple of weeks. Time.
Oh, yeah.
10th birthday. Yeah.
We've got to do some special stuff for that, I'm sure.
And we've got Black Friday after that. Which, great. And then there's Christmas. So we need to get some train sets. Oh, wait a minute. Should have said that.
Those ones. Oh, those. I can make. Yeah, carry on.
Train sets. So we need to. So we've got. We're going to have a selection of train sets for Christmas because everyone wants a train set.
Absolutely.
So there'll be some different flavors of those, and we'll do some really cool sets. But obviously, as part of that, and eagle-eyed people might have seen it in the slideshow, there might be a terrain tile compatible version of the train tracks.
Now I'll come back to Gary at this point, because that's part of our histories. We started out with the Wild West, didn't we, Gary?
Yeah.
So we've seen some pictures scroll through there of the tent town we mentioned. Can you tell us a bit more about that, just briefly, and then what follows it?
10 years ago, Steve, they started in a garage.
Yes.
And, boldly...
It feels like I'm still in a garage right at this moment.
Yeah. I boldly emailed looking for somebody to do something. And honestly, Steve was the only one that positively said, yeah, we'll have a go. Whatever. And then I bulldozed him with tons. And as time went on, we did more Old West stuff. And of course, all the tent town end of the railroad sort of films, those weird things, the boom towns, the gold mine towns. They just come up, spring up overnight.
Cat Baloo.
Yeah, paint your wagon. And and all of those sorts of things, good, bad, the ugly, those sorts of things. And so it just seemed natural to put that in as a set of scenarios. For me, it's about the models and the environment. For gamers, it's about the ability to see a shadow inside a building and shoot it. Do you see what I mean? It was just that fun. But of course, that meant railway. So we had the railway, but then we got the terrain tiles, and we thought, well, bond them together.
A couple of people have actually suggested it, haven't they? And there's some people have done it themselves, just kit bash the sets, because you can do it. But we're just going to make it easier to align everything. So there's a little widget Gary's done to align the tracks, so you can centralise them all.
He forgot to put that in with the stuff he's sent to someone today to find out how much it's going to cost. So it's like, but yeah, I mean, in terms of lists, this is
500 pages of
sketches. I was talking to AJ about stuff, and I had to throw 3 lists away that had been completed. I found it halfway in the middle what we were talking about. But in terms of so the tent town and the Old West, the railway just became something that should be fitted in with it. And that's where the mine, the mine wheelhead we do. That was done at a time when, and again, because certain things changed, the market, we needed to broaden out things that fitted within the Old West, but it's a highlight to where we were and are going with it.
So more to add. And of course, we would have seen a few pictures sneaked in there at the end. So that's a few little things of what's coming. So Steve, I think it's probably time to mention something that we started at the beginning of the show about the surprises and stuff, perhaps.
Yes, we're gonna. It's 6 months of everyone having to put up with us, so we think somebody probably deserves some compensation for that.
Well, honestly, there's nothing else on telly. I can guarantee that.
Thank you so much for watching us.
So what we thought we'd do is we will, if you leave a comment on this thread, and then next week we'll announce someone. We'll pick someone just before it randomly, but they can have any of the kits that were shown in the video. So it might be something that's not come out yet, or something we've done. But if there's a picture of it there, they can we'll give it away, so they can have a bit of choice. So you need to go back, and I told you to pay attention, but you need to go back and watch that slideshow.
Well, Mike's spot.
What I would point out is you can't have the dog, because AJ might not be prepared to give away his firstborn. So it has to be a kit produced by us.
Yeah, Ruby is not.
Ruby's definitely not up for grabs.
Well, guys, we've got lots to look forward to. Can you give us a quick rundown on the last page there, Steve, of what we got coming, or are we not going to tell anybody?
Wait a minute, what have we got? I don't know. What we got? We got some more stuff for Clockwork Goblin. 28mm Pegasus Bridge. Yeah,
yep.
Coming soon. The Old West paddle steamers, the paddle steamers, the colonial one, we've got another version to come and some little add-on bits and things like that to make something new of those. Jerome will get his extra floors for the Rome building. Which for some reason I've just been completely missed, and he's mentioned it to me a couple of times. and he picked on me last night as well about it. So I will make sure we sort that. What else have we got?
I don't know. We can get to Doshi's 20mm Dutch bridges, but that will definitely be something we'll look at. But of course, the guidebook at the moment it's just a physical copy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a PDF.
Well, should it be a non-physical copy, Gary? Like a digital copy? What do you think?
Well, I don't see why not. It's the tech guys need to work out the size of the thing to download it.
Yeah,
because it is picture heavy, and because of the nature of it, you don't really want to lose some of that quality. So, especially if you can zoom in, and go.
Yeah,
sure.
so it's all about techniques as well.
So we get a digital book will be coming in the very near future.
Excellent. Well, let's leave it at that. I think everybody's going to go back and now check out all the pictures. And of course, anybody joining us out of our live show, they can catch this on our Facebook page still, and of course, go and check out on our YouTube page as well. There's a channel there just for our live shows. Have a look through there, but comment on our Facebook page below. And I think, when do we want to pull the prize draw? When we can have a look?
We'll do if we do that. We'll do it. If we do it, we'll do it at 7 p.m. just before next week's live show. So we'll announce the winner on the live show, and we'll do it just before. So you've got a week. People have got a week. So that gives them time to look, choose, and
some good guess there.
Yeah.
Fantastic, guys. Well, I think it's probably time to wrap things up. Everybody's put up with us for long enough. Hopefully that wasn't too bad, everybody. Just being semi-prepared than usual. So we'll wrap it up.
We won't make a habit of it.
Trying to be in touch and make up as you go along. So I think it's time for us to say goodbye, and we'll catch you all next Thursday.
All right. Bye, guys. See ya.
Take care.